It is 8:30, so we are going to kick this thing off. Welcome to our meet and greet tonight. We have found that this is the most fun way to meet people who are considering getting involved in the coaching opportunity, where you can kind of meet our team, ask some questions if you have them, or just learn a little bit about what we do and why we do it. So I will kick it off. I'm Annalisa Hurley. I've been a coach for 7 years. And in a very small nutshell, I started my experience with Beachbody when I was preparing for my wedding. And I needed a program that was going to work quickly and effectively and help me lose some weight for my wedding to feel good in that time. And I found it with the Ultimate Reset, like this nutritional program that was 21 days. And it is by far one that I would recommend above and beyond all other types of like cleanses. It is just a clean eating program. And it did the trick above and beyond. I lost weight. I felt fantastic. My energy was up. I recently did it again just a couple of weeks ago with the same results. So it's definitely something that I am a huge advocate for. I'm a promoter for. I love that program. It's hard, but I love the results of the program, I will say. But when I came back from my wedding, my coach had asked me to start coaching. And I had just finished up a side business with a jewelry company. And so I had some experience with this network market. It wasn't really network marketing at the time. It was more just like multi-level marketing. Hosting a team, finding teammates, but we were selling jewelry. And I can honestly say that promoting health and wellness and programs that I'm using and finding results with and have been using for 7 years now is way easier and more authentic for me than selling a piece of jewelry. So one of the concerns I had when I got started was just that. It was one, that I didn't like going to sell jewelry on a Friday night, Saturday night, all over Timbuktu, wherever people were hosting me would have me. But more so that I felt really uncomfortable or disingenuous asking people to spend $100 on a necklace. Whereas now I can easily provide these offers to get involved with our programs, because I find that $140 or something for a year of fitness and a month of dense nutrition is like insane. It's insane if you compare it to any other fitness programs and memberships out there. $140 to get started on a game-changing health and fitness program and essentially a business is just crazy. So that my big concern was just that I wouldn't feel comfortable selling. And after 7 years of doing this, I can genuinely say that is not a concern that I face. It's all about belief in what we have to promote and the value in that. So I'll pass it over for someone else's story.
I will go. I am Dana, not Declan. That's my son's name for Zoom school. And I'm sorry if I talk a little funny. I had a pretty big dental surgery this morning, but Annalisa is actually my coach. We were field hockey teammates in high school, and she started reaching out to me maybe a couple months before my son turned 1. And at the time, I was really at rock bottom in my life. I had left a very abusive relationship to choose to raise my son alone as a single parent. I had moved across country. At the time she started reaching out to me, I was actually living in an apartment above my family's garage, trying to get back on my feet. So I was literally the epitome of rock bottom, like mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. If any of you have ever lived through an abusive situation, it completely tanks your self-worth and your self-confidence, and it takes a lot to rebuild that. But I was also at a place where I financially did not know how I was going to build and support, a life for us. And when she started inviting me, my back history, I had always been a swimmer, an athlete. And when I was 16, I had been in a severe near-death boating accident that removed the top third of my pelvis, and I had 12 surgeries to follow. So from my teen years up to my early 20s, I lived on a lot of medication. And when I got pregnant and had my son, that was kind of when I decided that I wanted to learn how to live a healthy life. Like I wanted to be an active, happy mom. And that was not what I was when she started reaching out to me. And so I kind of figured, like, what do I have to lose? If it's really, I like to put it this way, like it's very hard to make any positive changes in your life when you're exhausted and you're burnt out and you have no confidence and you're unhealthy and like you're surviving on caffeine and sugary snacks and you have a shitty attitude. Like I was very negative. I was very unhappy. And so I kind of figured, what do I have to lose? And I committed to a fitness program and Shakeology and a nutrition plan. And it was crazy. Within like a week, I already started to feel more energized and happier and more confident, just because I had decided to make a change and do something about it. And that like shift from feeling like I'm stuck in my life and I don't know what to do, to just deciding to make that change and take action towards something different was so empowering for me. And she had me hop on an opportunity call very much like this. And I have no idea what was said to me that night, but all I knew was that this was like the golden opportunity being handed to me to change the trajectory of our life. And that was what I did. So I went all in. I have been a coach for a little over 6 years now. I have built a business that has earned multiple six figures since I started, but more so I have gained an incredible community of friendships and support and just personal empowerment, self-confidence, health. And if I can say anything, is that when you lean into consistent healthy habits and personal growth and the support of a positive community, it really helps you not just navigate like the highs in your life, but it helps you have a game plan to navigate the lows in your life when they do come. And so this has been kind of the thing that I've always leaned into and fallen back on no matter where I was at in my life. And I'm so grateful for that. So that's a little bit about my story.
I'll go. I'm Whitney. Hello. I have some notes because I get really nervous when I talk. So I usually, once I start talking, I just go in 10 different directions. So I'm going to try to center myself. So sorry if I look to the side. But hi, everyone. I want to quickly talk about who I was like way before Beachbody. So I don't talk about this a lot, but like growing up, I was super shy. I never really had any confidence. I got picked on, and I kind of just tried to follow in my sister's footsteps. I have a sister who's 4 years older than me, and we kind of like the same things. So I kind of just did everything she did. I hung out with her friends. Still to this day, her friends are some of my closest friends. And so not having any confidence, and then going through college, and I was in a really bad abusive relationship. And I mean, Dan already said some stuff, but yeah, it drops your confidence even lower than it was before. And where someone that doesn't have any confidence, it's a blow. So finally got the cojones to leave, and people ask me often what happened. I don't remember it. I blacked out. But I moved. So here's where Beachbody comes in. So I was living in Springfield, Mass. I don't know if anyone knows where Massachusetts. So it's like the western part of the state, which is where I was living at the time. I was going to grad school, and I moved back to Boston, so the eastern part of the state, to live with my family and to just kind of get out. But I still had to finish school. So every other weekend, for the whole weekend, I would drive from Boston to Springfield, which is like, I don't know, 2 hours. But I would stay at a hotel in Springfield and just kind of sit in the hotel because I was afraid of seeing my ex, seeing anyone that knew him, seeing anyone that I knew. I just left my life completely left it. Even people that weren't really involved with that, I needed to cut it off. So I just kind of was lonely and eating a lot a lot of fast food, whatever was easy to take with me. So I was really anxious, zero confidence again, just nothing. I was in school, I was trying to do something for myself, and I was sitting on a bed in I think it was a Holiday Inn at the time. I don't know what it is now, but at a hotel for one of the weekends, and I was on Facebook and I saw Annalisa, who just spoke a little bit ago, and she and I went to undergrad together. And I saw her, I don't even remember what she posted, but she just looked so happy. And in that moment, I knew that I had to do something for myself. So coaching, I started this journey for me. I needed to get healthy. I needed to do something for myself where I was going to be miserable for a long time. So I just kind of dove in with my own journey, and Shakeology changed my entire life. I am not someone who loves drinking shakes all the time. I didn't want them before, but another piece of my journey, I'm not going to go, I could talk for hours. I had a lot of stomach issues. I've had 7 colonoscopies and I'm 35 years old. I have had a lot of issues, and I was on a lot of medication, which kind of fueled some of the weight gain and all of that. And I haven't taken any of the medication now in 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. It's been a lot of years. So I don't take any medication for my stomach issues anymore because of Shakeology. So that is something that has completely transformed my life. So I think the bigger thing for me was the confidence piece, and the piece that I was afraid of coming into this, or coming into the coaching side of it, was I'm shy. I don't really like to talk. Even now, I'm like sweating right now. I just get super anxious, but this changed my entire life. So if I can help one other person change the trajectory of their life, I have done my job. So I just wanted to say that this, for me, has given me confidence that I never had. I lost 30 pounds, I think. And I just got a voice. I got a voice to use this platform and help other women find their confidence, find their voice. I found the most amazing friends in the world. Like I said before, my sister's friends are some of my best friends. And then these people from Beachbody, I don't really have any other friends. Those are the 2 pieces of my life. And I don't know what I would do without this family. What else? I have other notes, but I feel like that's what also, last thing, I promise. The piece about not really knowing what to do and not having the confidence, the biggest thing that I found coming into this is if you're nervous about not knowing what to do, not really knowing what network marketing is and all that, there's so many trainings that are here to help you. There are team pages, there's Beachbody has trainings, and I think the biggest thing is that we all have each other's backs. I have never worked for a company that had your best interest at heart, like all of the people that I've ever met through Beachbody have. It is a strange phenomenon, but an amazing thing that everyone wants the best for you, and it's really that's all.
I'll go if that's all right. I wanted to say hi to Melissa and Karen for joining. Hi guys. So something that I wanted to talk about a myth that I kind of had before I became a coach was that, and I don't want to take away your thunder, Mary Paige, so I'm gonna like rotate this into my own little spin here, is that you don't have to be perfect to become a coach. So we are not bodybuilders. We are not, fitness models. Now, if you want to be, great, but you don't have to be. We are not, when you think about a coach or something, you might put them up on the pedestal, but here's the thing. You don't have to be perfect. And for me, I am tracing this back to my diabetes, because I've had type 1 diabetes, and I know both you guys are diabetic. for 29 years, and my diabetes was like a shit show. I am so lucky that I've only had retinopathy and carpal tunnel and some ulnar nerve damage. Like, I'm just so freaking fortunate. And when I first started this and I thought about, yes, I want to become a coach, I was like, hold on, Maggie, you can't even take care of yourself. Why is anybody going to listen to you? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's not about me. Now, for me, it's about me, right? But as a coach, it's about who I'm helping. And what I'm providing as a coach, and Melissa, I wanted to tie this into one of your questions, or not questions, but trying to make wellness a higher priority in your life. So for me, putting myself up here and making sure that I am getting my fitness, getting my exercise in, following, a healthy nutrition plan for me. I'm not perfect, and I don't expect anyone else to be. But what other people do is they look at me and they say, okay, that gives me hope. She can do it. I can do it. Let's do this. And I'm not perfect, but the people that I coach and the people that are on our team, like, we're all in this together. And I just really think that that has taken my own fitness and my own health to a whole new level. And just by doing that, I'm inspiring other people. And I mean, if nothing else, like Whitney said, if I inspire one person besides my own self, then that's great. And that for me was a huge myth that I had to get over, is that I had to be perfect before I would ask other people to do this. And that's just not true, because we're all on this journey together. So thanks for listening.
And Maggie, you are so dead on for that. Showing up for yourself first and foremost is so important in this job. Hi guys, I'm Paige, and I've been a coach for, actively almost 3 years, but I've been with Beachbody for 3.5 years, and it has been life-changing. I know you're probably going to hear a lot of that from all you guys, from all of us here, but it's true. When you, and for those of you who are already doing the Beachbody programs but are kind of on the fence about coaching, like, you already know, like, you can get results from these programs. There's so much benefit from, the professional program start to finish, and the nutrition, and they just really give you everything you need in this little package, like Annalisa was telling you. Like, there's no better value out there. And so when I started coaching, when I started Beachbody, I was a mom. I had a 10-month-old. I had a 3-year-old, and I was a yo-yo dieter for years and years and years, and never really take off more than 10 to 20 pounds at a time, and I always put it back on. And I always battled my weight as an adult. And at that point in starting Beachbody, I was almost 200 pounds, which was scary to me, because I had suffered with gestational diabetes with both of my children. When my son was 18 months old, I had a scare while we were out of town. I suffered from symptoms of what is regularly known as a mini stroke. I had a lot of things that were kind of stacked against me, and I knew, having gestational diabetes and having this stroke scare, if I didn't get my act together, I was facing type 2 diabetes later in life. I was facing a lot of health concerns, and just overall I was obese. And I joined Beachbody just hoping, I needed some change, right? And I got in there, and I just started feeling the love of a community that was all in it together. I think that's what was the missing piece for such a long time. I was always looking for a community of other like-minded people, and that is where I found almost all of these women. We all kind of met, and we started, really becoming friends, and the support system, it was such a huge deal. So, 5 or 6 months down the road, I'd really only lost about like 12 pounds in my journey, which I'd been pretty dedicated, but we were doing a cross-country move, and there was just a lot of moving parts. And so I kind of put it on the back burner while we did the move. And as soon as I got settled in my new house, I went to my coach and I was like, all right, I'm going all in on just like fitness. And so that's what I did. And right around that same time that I decided to go all in on my fitness and like commit to just really kind of getting results, all these lovely women went to our annual coach conference in New Orleans that year. And I just sat back and I had so much FOMO. I was like, oh my gosh, they're having a ton of fun. This looks amazing. I was like eating it up. Like every post, I was like just stalking every single one of them. And I knew from that point on that I needed to do this too, because one, they looked like they're having a ton of fun. And two, like I saw so much value in like sharing my story. So I started just really committing to myself first and sharing my story, just saying, I'm not perfect. Look at me. I'm no one special, but I'm doing it. I'm getting results. Why don't you join me too? And I just started reaching out with friends. That's really what it started. So months go down the road, and so that was in July, and by January, I was down at least 50 pounds or more. At that point. And so it was like a huge deal. Like I went all in and I lost a ton of weight. And so that shows the accountability piece. Like if you're showing up for other people, you're showing up for yourself, because that's the first kind of rule of thumb around here. You got to be you have to be on your own wellness journey and being a product of the product. So this not only changed my life in a physical sense, but it really gave me a community and a support system that I never knew I really needed in order to see these results. And like many of us have said, these women are some of my best friends, and I see them on a daily basis here. We show up in our team pages, we cheer each other on, and you go to the events such as the Coach Summit or some of the other events that happen throughout the year, and you feel that community. And I've never, ever once felt that in any other organization that I have been a part of. And it's just so different because we're all showing up because we have a passion to help others, because we have seen personally what it can do for you. So there's so much power in what coaching has to offer, and I highly recommend it, because here we all are sharing our awesome stories. So why not you?
I guess I'll go next. Hi guys, I am Ashley. Actually, 1 week from today will be my 2-year coaching anniversary. So that's pretty exciting. My story is a little bit different than everyone else's, but also a lot in the same too. I have always struggled with weight, but when I was younger, I was super active, and I was in musicals and shows, and, cardio was my bitch. So I was always super healthy. Then following college, right before I got married, about 8 months before I got married, I suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to 20% of my body from a pressure cooker exploding on me. So after that, like everything that I love to do, I wasn't able to do for a really long time. They had me on a high protein, high fat, high calorie diet from the doctor. And for someone like me who's always struggled with binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating, it was just kind of a recipe for disaster. And it started the spiral and this trend in my life. Fast forward a few years later, I was pregnant with my son, Oliver. And we didn't know, but after he was born, we found out that he was diagnosed with a rare congenital heart defect. And we spent the entire 6 months of his life at the hospital with him, in which he then passed away at 6 months old. So after that, and living at a hospital for 6 months, and so much trauma that I never really dealt with mentally. I was in a really, really dark space. I had PTSD, I had postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, and felt really lost. So where did I turn? Food, and a lot of it. And to say the least, I found that when we left the hospital, I was over 300 pounds. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not how my son would want me to live, because what I told him right before he took his last breath was, I promise I will live for you. Right. And that has been part of my why, and why I have chosen to stay on this journey. And so now here we are. A few years later, I got pregnant in the middle of my journey when I first started with my daughter Violet, and then hopped back on the wagon, completed our 80-day challenge, which was very stressful, but really awesome. And I achieved amazing results. And to this day, I am down over 100 pounds, and I've never felt better in my life. And I think a lot of us focus on the scale when it comes to our weight problems or our health. But what we don't tend to realize is that a lot of it is mental, and it's us dealing with our traumas, and it's us being afraid to expose that side of ourselves in fear of judgment from others, or in fear of, oh, my story's too hard for people. And that was something I really struggled with when I first started actively coaching, was I have this depressing story, and who's going to want to hear it? Like, I don't want to let people down. I need to be positive. I need to do this. And I was so pleasantly surprised. Like, one of my first posts, I always told Dana's my coach, and I told her, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be a good post when you just feel like you're going to throw up right after you hit post. I have gotten so much love and so much feedback, and I have been able to show other women and other angel moms and other people who've been through crazy trauma in their lives that, like, your trauma does not have to define you, and you can live better for yourself and for your family and for your children. And honestly, that's why I became a coach, is because I wanted to do all those things. I want to live for my son. I want to live for my daughter. And I want to show my daughter here on earth with me how to live a healthy life and how to appreciate the life that you have and not just throw it away. That's it. Real heavy, but I just need to throw some truth bombs today. So thanks, guys.
Here, I hear you guys' stories all the time, every time we do meet and greets, but they always have this little new piece to it that is just awesome. There are so many coaches on this team that we could have the whole squad on here and we could talk to you till midnight, but we try to give you kind of a little bit of a taste of some of the stories in our team. And you've heard tonight, just through the stories you've heard about how coaching, or how this community offers empowerment for people to kind of feel good on their own again, or to kind of just take the reins in their own life. You've heard about how the community has benefited so many people, like our trips and just our challenge groups and our team pages and our outings. And whenever we can get together, we will. We are so bummed because this year our annual conference has been canceled due to COVID, but we will come back stronger than ever next year with our events, that's for sure. You've heard about how income has changed people's lives a little bit. You've heard about how coaching is the ultimate accountability factor. When you are showing up for other people, you show up for yourself. When you have a challenge group and you haven't popped in there in 2 days and you think, I got to get a workout in and show up in my group, that's coaching. We're all in this together, and reaching out to people in your groups, relating to them. Like you've heard tonight, not being perfect and just sharing the journey that you're on and making it really realistic and relatable, because there's no one in your network who belongs on your team who is going to see the highlight reel of your story and think, I can do that. They're going to see the story, the hard stuff, when your day goes to crap and you're showing up in your team, or, you know, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flow of your life, that's what makes you relatable. So it's not about just 100% all on nutrition, 100% on my workouts. It's about sharing your story. And you've heard about how this opportunity has created purpose for some people, for their families, for, you know, as single moms, for people who just want something more to pour into, because maybe they're at home, they're a mom, they're working, they're going through the day to day, but this is our little thing that is like ours to work on, which can be really cool for some people who, like me, just want that something of their own to succeed in. So one of the things I want to touch on briefly before we say our goodbyes and let you get on with your evening is the income factor, because this is a business. Like I know some of the girls on here are already challengers, you're familiar with the products, so why change it and start coaching? Aside from the accountability, the income opportunity is awesome. I am a full-time speech pathologist. I am generating a full-time income through Beachbody. So who doesn't want 2 full-time incomes coming into their, you know, streamline? And even if you don't have another business that you're working or career that you're working, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, generating income, doing something from home that makes you feel good, can work on it in the nooks and crannies of your day when you're, you know, got a few free minutes. It's really super flexible, and you're not showing up to a shift on a Friday night trying to make a few bucks. You know, the income with Beachbody comes along with time. So at first, you're going to be selling products, getting your challengers involved, and you'll make commissions off of that. You also have an opportunity to make bonuses if you sell a certain amount of packages in a given time frame. I'm trying not to get too technical because it'll be like, what is she talking about? But you make commissions, you make bonuses, and then as you build a team, the company pays you saying your team is rocking it, here's a bonus for you. Okay, and that's where the money starts to come in, as you build a tribe of people that you really want to run and do this with, and you go to these events and you build this community of people you love hanging out with and spending time with and thriving with. That's when the company starts to pay you money a little bit more consistently. And yeah, like Maggie said, like what other job can you get involved in that like you're getting paid to work out and try healthy products? And the nice thing about Beachbody too is that it's a fitness component, because a lot of people don't have this like trifecta of fitness, nutritional products, and the coaching community. So you're getting the whole shebang, and you're earning income while you help other people join this energy and join this tribe and have fun doing it. So anyone have questions about why you would want to coach, or how you would get started if you're already a challenger or anything like that?
I just want to add to this is that if it's not a question, if you have like a fear or an apprehension or something that's holding you back, because I know that is typically what stands in the way of saying yes, because that was the case for most of us. Like, I'm afraid to be salesy. I've never run a business before. I'm terrified to post on social media. I don't want to bother family and friends. I don't have a ton of money. I don't have a ton of time. Like, throw the excuses at us too.
Right? Think about why aren't you a coach today?
Yeah.
What is the one thing or more than one thing that's holding you back? You can type it in the chat. You can feel free to speak. You can just hold your peace and say, I'm signing up tonight, so I got no fears.
Hey, this is Karen. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Karen.
Hey, Maggie, I know you're on there too. I guess my question is, I've heard different bits about and doing this full time. So how many hours a week? I know clearly it's flexible. So however big you build your team kind of dictates how much time you actually spend. But I guess as far as, any Beachbody meetings, any sales product information, trainings, what kind of time is invested? Because many of us do work full-time jobs, and full-time jobs anymore are not 40 hours. They're 60 hours a week. So I guess it's my big question outside of you drive your own force. If you want a big team, you're spending more hours. But is there some kind of a generalization you can give?
Annalisa, I think you would be best to take this question, just because you are a mom. You do work full time outside of a job that's not Beachbody. And Karen is a mom as well, and she has a job, and she's killing it with her workouts, and she's killing it with her nutrition. I know she's doing awesome. But I can't really relate to that because, I mean, I'm a mom and that's my job, but go ahead.
I'm happy to speak to that. I will say that it certainly ebbs and flows a little bit for me at this time with everything that's going on. Some days I can put in more time, some days is a little bit less. I will say, starting off, you can watch the first 5 training videos we have in under an hour. So you can easily get started on like, what do I need to do to get started here? And then it's simply, if you can create 1 post a day and half an hour of work to start, then you'll be fine. A half an hour of thinking like, who can I connect with today? And who can I throw an invite out to? And what can I put on my social media wall? So that you're putting yourself out there, you're talking to people, and you're generating those invitations. And then, like you said, as you grow a team, there's going to be a time where you need to start thinking, what can I sacrifice here to dig into my business? I won't sugarcoat it. Like, we can't just say like, oh, it's easy, you don't have to put in any time to this business. You certainly do have to put in time to the business, but some people get up an hour earlier and do their work in the morning in an hour. Amanda on this call is a great example of that. She's a mom and she's teaching, and she's getting up and putting in her, like, what we call power hour time of just focused business time. So if you can commit to an hour a day of focused business time to start, whether it's a half hour in the morning and a half hour at night, you're golden. Like, that's pretty solid start for a new coach. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think vaguely it does, because I mean, I know I have a large retail background. I'm not in retail anymore, but everything's just as much as you put in it is what you get out of it. And so I know it was kind of I don't have the word for it, just kind of a general question, because I think for me the biggest thing is managing my time. I know Maggie, hit on it that I do work. I do have kids.
Yep.
I'm remarried, and my husband's in the military, so he's not always here. And so trying to figure out when I want to. And then I think, part of, and Maggie, talked to Maggie about this before, but part of even just committing to getting myself started and working out with Beachbody was, how do I give myself the time to do it for myself? And then, I actually love sales. It's a big part of what I do. And even the job now, I'm in fraud and security, and a lot of things that I do there, it's vendor related. So there's a lot of sales and a lot of drive that I have to put into it. And so, I don't know, one of you said, there's like an income of like, I don't know, it was a large sum, and I'm thinking, ooh, looking at it to this instead of what I do now, because I'm always looking to learn and grow and do something new. And so I guess, I'm just kind of like toying with it, like
there's
I can
potential of like major income growth, right? So bonuses are like beyond my scope of understanding for this, like how a company can just like basically give you $15,000 when you hit a certain rank in this company. But yes, that takes like consistently big numbers. And is it impossible? Heck no. We have people who signed in like this year who are already like cruising to, or over the last year, I mean, not in the last 5 months, but over the last year, who are like showing up as top leaders in the company. So with the sales drive, with knowing, understanding like numbers and that goal oriented like income motivator, if you can put in the time to it, you'll get there consistently. In terms of the question you asked about like, sales calls and sales meetings, the only thing we do as a team, they're not required. Like, we get together on Wednesday nights at this time, and there's there's a call that Beachbody records live, but then they put on their podcast. So again, it's sort of something that you can navigate when it fits your schedule. So while it's flexible in terms of when you put in the time, to grow a significant business, you need to be able to do it consistently.
Right.
I just want to chime in. Can I chime in on this too?
Of course.
I am a full-time coach, and I do make a full-time income that is far beyond what I would have made with a college degree. So I want to chime in on this on a little bit of less of like the sales and numbers side and more of the why are you doing it side. Because I feel like when you see a potential that something could have in your life, a lot of times we try and like compartmentalize, like, where am I going to fit this in my schedule? Because especially before you're actually coaching, you don't know exactly what it is you're going to do. It's just like when you're not doing a workout yet, like it's very hard for you to conceptualize, like, how am I going to find 30 minutes a day to work out when I feel like I have no freaking time as it is, right? And then you actually get started with your workout and it becomes a part of your routine and you look forward to it every day, and it feels a lot easier to fit that in your schedule, right? And make it a non-negotiable habit. It just is kind of the same thing with business habits. Like, as you start to go through our trainings and learn the basics of those things, you can build those into your schedule just as simply. And we've, a couple months ago, we had a training call, which I've never heard it said this way before, but writing down like a 24-hour clock of your hours in a day and like chunking in the hours that you're at work, the hours that you're, making dinner or driving your kids to school or whatever that is. And then looking at those gaps of time in your day, whether it's a half an hour or an hour after the kids go to bed, and thinking about like, could I better use that time than I am right now? Maybe watching TV or scrolling on Facebook. Like, we all have gaps in our day that we're not necessarily utilizing intentionally. And we always think, well, I just don't have time. But like, there is time when we look at it like that and kind of dissect it. And then on the flip side, I would say for a lot of like new coaches, one of the things we always kind of ask you to dig into is like, where do you want your life to be a year from now or a couple years from now? Because I know before coming into coaching, I had never set goals for my life. I was not a big dreamer. I never kind of had something placed in front of me that was like, here's endless opportunity for you to change anything in your life. Like, what does your ideal life look like for you? And so I think to have the motivation to find the time and to make the time to build a business, you have to know why you really want to do it and what it's going to provide for your family. Is it extra income? Is it paying off debt? Would you be able to take more vacations with your family? Could you retire your spouse from the military? A lot of coaches have done things like that. For me as a single parent, I didn't want to put my kid in daycare. I wanted to be home full time with him, and I worked my butt off to be able to do that. Like, with coaching, there is no right or wrong. There is no one size fits all. It's not, you have to work this amount of hours. It is what you make it to be. And so my best advice would be to dive in and like start to learn the basics and test them out and get your footing. And if you feel like you can fit it into your routine, awesome. And if it's not for you, you didn't lose anything. Like, it's ultimate accountability to what you already wanted to do with working on your own wellness. And if you start to love coaching and feel fulfillment by helping other people and earn some extra income, like, that's just a bonus. And if you come in our crew and you get really inspired by those of us with big goals and big dreams, it might just change your entire life.
Truth. So true. So true. And it sounded like, Karen, you kind of already had that, like, that little thing in your head that was like, well, that would be cool if I didn't have to work my current job or whatever it may be. Some people don't want to leave their job, but that would be cool if I could pay for a family vacation without like relying on.
So
whatever.
like, ultimately, I'm looking for retirement, right? I'm 37. My second marriage, I've got 2 boys that are 8 and 10. And, I have invested already into my retirement, but as I'm looking at like my investments and I'm looking at like, what am I doing with my life? And when I talk to my husband about it, I'm like, I want to live. I don't want to work. I want to live. And just from speaking so much with Maggie, it just seems like the reward is different. I've years ago, I worked community-based social services. The job pays very little, but the reward is so different. And, Beachbody kind of has the same feel to it. Like, if you want to drive sales and hit big numbers, that opportunity's there. But on the flip side of it, there's like a warm fuzzy, like there's like that little like heart connection of like, I was down in the dumps and now I'm not, So,
I love that little analogy. It sounds like it's kind of what I used to refer a lot to as like this hustle and heart. Like, you've got to want to build a business, but you've got to want to do it with like pride and compassion for helping people.
Yeah. So it just,
Karen, I wanted to hop in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm with you. I'm 42. I'm all about the retirement. Like, I didn't start my career until I was almost 40. I was a stay-at-home mom for 14 years and then went back to school to get my teaching degree. So I'm with you. Like, starting your career at 40, you're automatically like, oh crap, like I got a little bit of time to get this in to hit the retirement. So that's where I'm at too. And I posted in the chat, but I didn't know if you got to see it or not, that I get up early now. I mean, a lot of it's trial by error. You have to kind of see what works for you. And so right now what's working for me is getting up earlier and putting in my time. But I definitely have gone through periods where I just have to work in the pockets of my day. So as long as I can get something in before I get to work, and then I'm checking messages and sending invites when I'm on my lunch break or after school. Maybe I'm doing the same thing when I'm sitting on the sidelines at my daughter's soccer practice or after they go to bed. So it's just kind of finding those pockets of time that they were talking about. But I'm with you in the retirement.
I have a quick question. I am what you call a true science nerd. I have that pure introvert personality, super shy. How do you, I get so nervous trying to post stuff, asking for anything online. How do you just get started?
I'm an introvert. I'm an outgoing introvert. So I would love to take this one. I feel like in this business, because a lot of it is like connections, like this is a networking business. It's connecting with people, building relationships, like sharing your journey, sharing your story. I think there is a very fine balance for introverts to recharge. So like when you're working, making sure that you're not feeling like emotionally drained or burnt out. But in terms of like sharing on social media, that's something we were all terrified of at first. Like Ashley made the comment about like, you're going to throw up when you make a post. That's kind of like how we all feel. And even still to this day, there are posts that I make that are very personal about my life, or that someone else makes on the team. And like, they still make you kind of want to throw up. But then you realize when you start putting yourself out there and you have women that connect to you and they connect to your story and they see themselves in your story and think like, you've inspired me, you've empowered me, you've given me hope, you've helped me want to make a change, like you've helped me learn how to be consistent, like you gave me the belief that if you could do this, I could do this too, then it becomes something a little bigger than yourself. And I think that with coaching, that's a lot of where that kind of mental shift goes from, of like that, oh my gosh, what are people going to say about me? What are they going to think? I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. Like I feel insecure about this. I'm afraid of judgment. And that flip switch goes to, if I put this out there, this can help someone, this can impact someone, this can change somebody's life. Like every single woman that you heard speak on this call tonight, they were invited by someone who had the courage to take a minute to share something public on social media. You know, the girl liked or commented on the post. We reached out and connected with them. Like Ashley, I met Ashley in a mom group. She didn't know me from a hole in the wall, but she started connecting on some of my posts. I reached out, like she's changed her entire life because I had the courage to share. And I think that's where the mental shift has to happen of like, yes, it's scary and yes, it takes courage, but the more that you do it, the braver that you get, just like anything else. It's like learning to ride a bike when you're a kid. Like you're scared shitless when you take your training wheels off and you don't know what you're doing and you fall on your butt and you scrape your knee, but like you keep getting up again and you keep riding the bike and you finally learn how to balance and you're like, look, mom, no hands, you know? I think with coaching, you truly learn confidence and you develop courage as you go. And also, I just want to say like how big we are on personal development. You may not see us talk about it all the time, but team calls, we talk a lot about, like, we had a team call last week on beliefs, like limiting beliefs, our confidence in ourselves and our abilities. We do a lot of reading books, so we're happy to suggest some that might be helpful to you, but it's a lot of it's personal growth. Just like Ashley mentioned, like, it's not just changing your body, it's changing your mind. And the cool thing about that is when you learn how to change your mind and build your confidence, then you become limitless in what you're capable of doing. Like, it's like a whole new world opens up to you because you're not afraid to come out of that shell as much anymore. So I don't know if that helps, but.
And I think sorry, Megs.
No, go ahead.
And I think just really quick too, like, I'm an extroverted introvert. So like, I like my time at home and I'm kind of like a homebody, but like my friends, I'm very extroverted with. And I think what happens over the course of time, like once you do your first post, you're not going to feel like gross about it or salesy about it because it's coming from your heart. And I think if you just always share something that's coming from your heart and from a genuine place, it makes it a lot less scary. And like, even reaching out to people, you're not reaching out to people with the direct thought of, I need this sale. You're reaching out to them going, maybe they need my help. Like, maybe I could be this person for them, like Dana was for me, or, you know what I mean? Or whoever invited you to the call, like, now she's that person for you, and you're looking up to her going, oh, well, like, she posted the stuff and I liked it. And then we started having a conversation, and a lot of it's just organic. And we're just building relationships with people, which I think when, like, I've been a part of other MLMs before, and that can feel really gross and like salesy, but this just feels so different because it is coming from like a genuine place in your heart. Like, I know I feel I'm a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. I can say that to people because it's true. So like, even though I might come off salesy to one person, okay, that person obviously was not called for me to help them. You know what I mean? And you just bless them and let it go. Because there's someone out there who needs to hear your story. And that first message that you get back from one of your posts, from someone just random messaging you saying, thank you so much for posting that. I really needed to hear that today. And that for me was like that bing, okay, yeah, I can do this. So I hope that helps.
And I was just going to say real quickly, Melissa, just like your exercise journey, you don't start off like you're killing it right now. Like, you don't start off doing the work, you start off doing something small, and then like you build your way up. And I remember like my first live video, I like deleted it. It was terrible. I was like, I freaked out. I spent like 20 minutes like writing down what I wanted to say, and then like I practiced it, and it was terrible. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. And I pressed live, and I was like, oh my God, and now it's just like, I practice it and I do it. And I'm not saying you have to do live videos if you don't want to. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, just like anything else, like Dana was saying with the bike, you practice it and you grow it and it becomes second nature. And when you start getting the, like Karen was saying, the warm and fuzzies, you're like, wow, I'm really making a difference. Yes, falling forward. And we all make mistakes. It's going to happen, but you're your own boss. You're not going to get fired. That makes sense. And feel free to message me any questions too.
And the cool thing about this is the majority of the time you are behind a computer screen. So you can be introverted because you are doing this job from your house. Any other questions or fears? I like those. No? Did everybody have their questions answered? Like, do you feel like, yeah, got the answer you were looking for?
I have a fear of just getting started because I've had such a good experience with Beachbody. I don't want to like ruin that. So I think that would be my biggest fear starting out. I guess not really a question, but it is a fear.
I think sometimes we're afraid to give up good for better, if that's a good way to put it. Because prior to starting Beachbody, you probably weren't sure what to expect either, just like with coaching. And like I said before, this is not something where you say like, I'm going to be a coach and you're locked in for life. And we're like, you're not going anywhere. Like you get to come in the team, feel it out, you know, pop into training, hop on some team calls. They're very much like this. You see, we're all very down to earth, like normal people. And if you decide it's for you, awesome. And if you decide it's not, then you continue being a challenger. Like there's no pressure to hit sales quotas or you get thrown in a group where you have to hit certain goals. Like there's no pushiness to it. Like I said, coaching is kind of, it's what you make it to be, and your coach specifically will guide you depending on what you say you want to do in this business. So it's not something like where we tell you what to do. It's something where we help you build a business based off what you want to achieve, and we help you understand what the goals are for that and what it takes to do that. And then it's up to you to decide how you feel about it. So you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. I like these questions. Good ones tonight.
And Lexi, feel free to message me anytime, or if you want to schedule a time to talk on the phone, we can absolutely do that.
All right, ladies.
Thanks, Maggie.
Oh, I was going to say, if we have no more questions, we'll let you go because we're coming up on our hour time frame. But thank you for letting us share our stories with you tonight and hearing about coaching. And hopefully we will see your beautiful faces in the team page. Yay! Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
See you all.
Thank you.